Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Liz Wunderly, and I'm the Fundraising Director for Sacred Selections. I have been with the organization since 2020. It is my job to support all things fundraising and events. And I can honestly say I love my job. Your presence here is something truly encouraging to me. It is a blessing that there are people around the country who care about sacred selections and who want to see the impact that this work can have on the fatherless and to help us bring all of that to light. In this webinar tonight, we are going to do a high-level overview of what it looks like to start fundraising in your local area. We will review what Sacred Selections mission is and how the grant process works. Then we're going to go over how chapters and individuals support that work through events and fundraising, closing out with all of the resources that Sacred Selections provides to help best execute your vision for those events. And with all of that, I'm going to pass it off to our Chief Operations Officer, Ellen, to go over the organization.
Hey everyone, thank you again for choosing to watch this and for thinking about ways that you can be involved. I am Ellen Vaughn. I got started with Sacred Selections myself as a volunteer who started a fundraiser back in 2015. That was the first time that we had a North Dallas dinner and auction. And that was my first jump into this fundraising. My own family had adopted, and so the cause of being able to raise funds that help Christians be able to open their homes and say yes to children and grow their families through adoption was very personal. It still is, obviously. And that's really how I jumped in and got started. And I am excited that you're here. And between everybody that does this, we want to support you. We have lots of experience, but also trust you and your instincts as well. So thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Sacred Selections in case it's not super familiar to you. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We are listed as a faith-based organization with the government, and we provide grants to Christian families based on some criteria. That criteria is that they are active members in good standing of a conservative non-institutional Church of Christ. They are legally prepared to adopt with their home study and all required background checks, etc. And also that they demonstrate a need for financial support to be able to afford the cost of adoption, which is a lot higher than you might realize it is if you're not familiar with the adoption world. So our goal is to make it possible for Christian families to say yes to children and mothers who are in a vulnerable place, to provide a spot for that child to land softly in loving arms in a home where they're going to learn about God and his love. We're really proud of the fact that as Dana and David Carosa built and grew this organization, it has always been true, and it's still true, that 100% of donations and profits from fundraisers go directly to covering adoption expenses. We have admin expenses. Those are funded separately. They're not part of your fundraiser's goal. And so as you talk to donors, that's something that we feel like is really important for them to know. And just we're really proud of the fact that we're able to say that. So to tell you a little bit about what our grants do, we work with families in 3 ways. We provide a full grant, partial grant, or we work with families who are able to self-fund. Our monies cover attorney, agency, and court fees for families. So we do not cover the cost of a home study. We do not cover post-placement visits that are also part of that home study process. And we also don't cover the cost of travel if travel is needed for a family's adoption plan. So everything that is raised is sent directly to the agency or the attorney supporting that adoption. We don't give monies to the families, just out of prudence and wisdom and care. That's always been the policy. So some families qualify for a full grant, which means that we will cover the entire cost of everything within our purview. Some families work with us in a partial grant format where we have enough abundance that we're able to set aside and cover a significant portion of our adoption, but not the full thing. In that case, we cover the monies that are due at match, the things that are considered to be at risk, and then at placement at the time that the adoption, when the child is actually placed with the family, there's usually a second set of fees due, and the families agreeing to cover those expenses at that time out of their own pocket. And sometimes we also have families that say, we want to adopt, we can cover the costs ourselves, but we still provide them, like we do with all of our families, some education about the adoption process and also help them with networking and connections and helping them just along their journey by being a support for them. So that's kind of just a high level of who qualifies for a grant, what does our funding go toward, and how does that work for our families. And thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Ellen. So now you kind of have a better understanding of sacred selections and knowledge of what we're raising funds for, but you need to figure out how. So the first thing in doing this is to decide if you are looking to start a local chapter or do something annually, a local chapter to do something annually, or if you're wanting to just do something this one time with a small local network of people. Both of these things are so vital to our organization. They both have their part. We will go over in more detail in a minute what all it takes to be a chapter, but the key difference here is that you plan to do an event of some kind annually. A local fundraiser is just a one-time event that you have the capacity to do right then and there, and that's it, with no expectations of doing something again until you're able. But if you decide to start a chapter, you plan to do something annually and keep that momentum going. So once you have decided how often, so chapter or fundraiser, you need to ask yourself, what is the goal of this fundraiser? Most new chapters, their number one goal is filling the room and educating their community about what Sacred Selections is and that there is a new chapter. And that is so important. You want buy-in, you want to spread the word, and it takes work to do that. And hopefully you'll also make some money throughout it. But established chapters or fundraisers in areas that are familiar with Sacred Selections, their primary goal typically is to make money. And every event is different in how much their goal is to make money. When asked, what should it be? Like, we're a new chapter, we don't know. I always suggest, let's just say $50,000. You don't have to reach it. But when you are telling those around you, we want to raise $50,000, did you know that's about the cost of one adoption? A lot of people don't realize how expensive it is. So you're encouraging people to donate to reach that large goal, but you're also educating them on why this organization exists and why you are doing the things that you're doing. So money is important. Obviously, we need money to operate and to support these adoptions, but education is also key in realizing when you have the need for each. So I mentioned we do have some expectations for chapters. First, let me tell you exactly kind of what a Sacred Selections chapter is. They are all run and organized by local Christians volunteering their time and efforts to raise funds for the organization. We use the term chapter kind of just as a way to establish a core presence geographically of supporters in that area. Each chapter typically does have a main point of contact, and we call that person the chair. And then each chapter has volunteers that support that chair in their roles, and we call those committee members. They all work together to host an event for Christians all across their area. So when you start a chapter, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to give you some resources. With those resources, we do include some legal and ethical requirements that we hope that you guys will follow, as well as our brand guidelines that just kind of keeps all the chapters consistent in the look of them. But otherwise, all of these chapters operate autonomously, and it is your chapter, and you know your community and how best to serve them, and we trust you in that. So we will give you a unique logo to your area. We will provide you with a chapter email address at sacredselections.org and a Facebook page that you will become an admin on and run yourselves. These things are provided for you. They are there for you to communicate with your local donors and potential donors, build relationships with those local people to you. We do ask that the chapters use them for their event marketing, but also sometimes we have our own Sacred Selections nationwide campaigns, and we hope that you would use them to communicate with your donors so we can make sure everybody knows it. So for an example, we are currently reaching out to chapters to spread the word about Coast to Coast, which is a kids fundraising opportunity that takes the course of the summer. And they are posting on their own social medias and emailing their donors and just making sure that their community knows about this opportunity. In addition to that, we do ask that every chapter host one event of some kind every year. You know your community best and what your donors want. We hope that you can look at that and see what your people would enjoy and maybe make some changes year after year. It's up to you. And then finally, as a chair and committee member, we hope that you will be a representative in your area as needed by the local families adopting, local donors, businesses. If they have questions about the organization, they can come to you. But we do not expect you to know all the answers. But you know where we are, and you can connect them to us, or we can provide you with answers to better answer their needs. So you're a chapter, or you decided, hey, the chapter life ain't for me, and you just want to host one event this summer or whenever to support something. What do you want to do? So there are so many different types of events. As you can see, here's just a list, and this is not comprehensive. The options are endless. But the tried and true, the bread and butter, and what has truly supported hundreds of adoptions over the last 20 years are our dinner and auctions. And I will not sugarcoat it. It's a lot of work. I've done it. Ellen's done it. If you've been to a dinner and auction that a chapter has held, you've seen all of this coming to fruition. Like, it is a beautiful, amazing experience, but it's a lot of work. But it's worth it every single second. It's what brings in the money and really is the backbone to our fundraising efforts and what we need to bring in the funds. It is ideal for chapters to do. Through hosting a dinner and auction, you are going to be forced to build relationships with local Christians, with businesses and local businesses and your donors to get them to attend and donate. And they're going to want to come back year after year. Your retention is great. So if you can just do something for 1 year, I would not suggest doing a dinner and auction because you're missing out on an opportunity with all of that work that you could reap the benefits of year over year. So as a chapter, that is ideal for you to do. And those look different, and we can discuss that in another webinar of what dinner and auctions look like. But smaller, very popular events for chapters, or for just one-off of fundraising events, pickleball tournaments, 5Ks, ladies' teas, trivia nights, again, looking at your community and realizing what their interests are, what would motivate people to come, and what they would like, and just get them excited. Like, look at that and leverage that. And we can brainstorm together. I am here to help you in making all of that come alive. So again, like, when you're choosing what type of event, you just want to look at it. I like to get the example. We got a couple chapters in Texas. You know, when you're in Texas, give them barbecue. You say, hey, I'm having this event, and then we got good barbecue. They're going to come. They're going to come. And so you're looking at your audience and what they want. So whichever event you choose, though, again, and I will help you and support you. And how do I do that? We have lots of things. So as an organization, we use this platform called GiveSmart. And if you've been to a dinner and auction, or maybe within the last, since I've been here, 2020, I was hired to run this software. So since 2020, if you've donated, you've probably utilized the software in some way. And there's two sides to it. And the simplest way is that there's the dinner and auction side and the other side. So the graphic on the right is what you utilize for dinner and auctions. I will create your software landing page, and then you can edit it to match your chapter. And people can buy tickets, bid on items, make donations, purchase merch, all the things. Anything you need done with a dinner and auction of some sort, live auction, silent auction, all of that can be done on GiveSmart. But say you're not doing a live auction or a silent auction, but you're still doing an event, then we have the graphic on the left, 3 little phones, and currently you can see it's an example of somebody this Mother's Day selling Mother's Day bouquets, and 100% of their proceeds goes to Sacred Selections, and they just are going to provide the link, and it's all customizable. I will create this for you. I can create you registrations, ticketing, selling t-shirts, selling bouquets, whatever you need. Again, we'll brainstorm, and I will make you your landing page, and then we'll hop on a call and show you the ropes. But we also have, besides me, other resources that we're going to provide to you in learning these different things. So next slide. We have the GiveSmart templates, and then each chapter gets access to our GiveSmart or Canva Pro account. This is a simple and very easy to use graphic design website that will allow you to make marketing materials, social media posts, invitations, anything you might need to market your event. It will make it pretty. And Emily, our graphic designer, she has already put in brand templates that have mock invitations and social media posts and such with our colors, our fonts, and anything that you might need. You can use whatever theme you want for your event. You don't have to use this, but this is there for an example, and you can still use the software. The playbook on the top right has step-by-step guides. It's a website that just has full of information, examples, links, guides, donor receipt examples, all the things that you might need. That is there, and you can access that. And there's links to our YouTube videos. We've created YouTube tutorials. It's there. And then we also have a Sacred Selections event organizers Facebook group. So you're kind of probably already thinking, how do I get access to all of this? I want on that group. I want to ask people questions. You can post and ask other organizers that are on there if they had any experience in these things, and they will respond to you. But after this, I will send you links to all of these things. So don't get too worried about that. But you now know how you're going to do it, what you're going to do. But how are we get started? What is that first step? And it's really simple. Just start with your small committee. A couple Christians in your area. It's different for everybody. Some chapters only have 2 people, some have 9. It's based on your abilities and the support you need and those around you willing to help. And start with those people, and then choose your activity and venue. Once you know what you're doing and who you're doing it with, we can get the ball rolling. Everything will fall into place. You'll connect with me, we'll finalize your date, and then I will flood you with all of these resources and meetings. And I can't express it to you enough. I am here to support you as little or as much as you want. And that looks different for everyone. I'm here for that. So I'm thankful that you're here and you have this heart to serve and support Sacred Selections. Thank you, Ellen, for coming. We are both here for questions. Reach out to us with anything at all that you might need.